How much sleep do you need every day? I think it depends on what I've done the day before. If I've had a very busy or stressful day at work, then I need 7 or 8 hours to feel rested. But if I've had an easy day, then only 5 or 6 hours. Do you take naps at noon? I usually try to take a power nap during my lunch break at work, so that's around 1 or 2 p.m. So I do take naps just a little bit later. Do you like to read before bed? I read in bed all the time. That's because it helps me get away from computer and phone screens, and it makes me sleepy too, so it's perfect to do before I want to sleep. How have your sleeping habits changed since you were young? I think when I was younger, I used to wake up much earlier. I remember waking up at 6 or 7 a.m. and running into my parents' room and waking them up. Nowadays, though, I wake up around 8 or 9 a.m., so I miss the sunrise and I feel a bit more tired and less energetic in the morning.
Sleep. How many hours do you sleep every day? Well, now I have a very good sleep routine, so I most of the time hit the sack around 10:30 at night and then get out of bed at 7:30 the next morning. So I think that makes it, how many hours? 9 hours, which is amazing because I used to only get about 6 hours every day back in college. Is it necessary to take a nap every day? Well, honestly, no, I don't think it's necessary. It all depends on whether you sleep well at night. I mean, if you never have a sound sleep in the middle of the night, then absolutely every day after lunch, it's essential for you to take a cat nap just to feel more energetic in the afternoon. But if you always get a good night's sleep, no, it's not necessary. Do old people sleep a lot? Do old people sleep a lot? No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't really know why they don't sleep as much as young people do, but it seems like, I have a good example. My grandparents only sleep about 5 hours every day, I suppose. They get up super early, around 4:30, and then they just go to the park near our apartment and walk there for 2 hours before coming home to make us breakfast, which is unbelievable. Do you always have a good sleep? Yeah, absolutely. Like I said at the beginning, now my sleep quality has been really good ever since about 2 years ago, I think. What has changed? I mean, now I sleep a lot better than back in college and in high school. It must be because I just learned to cut back on caffeine, I used to drink a lot of coffee, even in the afternoon. Now I don't do that anymore. Sleep. How many hours do you sleep every day? Well, in most cases, I get about 8 hours sleep. Usually I go to bed around 11:30 and get up at 7:30 in the morning. So that makes it 8 hours in total. However, from time to time, if I have a very important test coming up, I just have no choice but to only sleep for 4 or 5 hours because I have to prepare for the test. Is it necessary to take a nap every day? Well, honestly, I don't think it's necessary for everybody, but for some people who always toss and turn at night because they don't get a good night's sleep, then taking a nap, just having 40 winks might be very crucial, because if they don't do it, they might just feel very sleepy throughout the day, and that's certainly not good. Do old people sleep a lot? Yeah. No, I don't think old people sleep a lot because, honestly, I don't know how to explain this, but my grandma only gets about 5 hours sleep every day. Yeah, she only sleeps for 5 hours, whereas I need at least 7 hours. But most of the time, I sleep for 8 hours. So, yeah, I just think that the older we get, the less we sleep. Do you always have a good sleep? Well, yeah, I think so. Most of the time, my sleep is of very good quality. However, sometimes I might have a nightmare. I do have a nightmare 2 or 3 times a year, not very frequently, but still, even if it's only a couple of times a year, I don't like it.
Sleep. How many hours do you sleep every day? Well, in most cases, I sleep for 8 hours because I hit a sack around 11:30 and get up around 7:30, so that's 8 hours in total. But from time to time, if I have a very important exam coming up, so I sleep only 4 or 5 hours a day because I have to prepare for this test. Is it necessary to take a nap every day? Well, I don't think it's necessary for most people, but for some people, if they don't get a very good sleep at night because they toss and turn at night, so I think it's necessary for them to have 40 winks because if they don't do that, they will be very sleepy during the day, and that's certainly not good. Do old people sleep or not? No, I don't think so. I don't think old people sleep or not, but I don't know how to explain this, but I do know my grandma, she just sleep 5 hours every day, whereas I have to sleep 7 hours every day at least. But most cases, I sleep 8 hours like I just said. So I think the older we get, the less we sleep. Do you always have a good sleep? Well, yeah, actually, most of the time I do get a good sleep, but I have a nightmare 2 or 3 times a year, although it's not very frequently, but I don't like that.
How long is enough for a good sleep? Well, I think maybe it varies from people to people. I think it depends on the age groups. For young people, a good night's sleep of 7 to 8 hours is quality enough, but for older generations, maybe 4 to 5 hours during the night and a siesta during noontime. They can also have cat naps, and for babies, maybe 20 hours. For young girls, I think it's not how much they sleep, but when they go to sleep that matters. Some girls sleep very early to get their beauty sleep. That's all.
Now I'd like to talk about sleep. How much sleep do you need every day?
I would say ideally between 7 and 8 hours. I usually go to bed between 11 o'clock and midnight, and I usually get up about between 7 and 8 o'clock. So, yeah, that's about the right amount of sleep for me. I shouldn't have too much because it leaves me feeling half awake, or too little because, of course, then I don't have the energy to do all the things I need to do.
Do you take naps at noon?
No, I can't do that. If I sleep in the middle of the day, yet again, I find it very difficult to be fully awake afterwards. So, yeah, I never acquired the habit of taking midday naps. I just work right through the day.
Do you like to read before bed?
Well, of course, now that I'm a student, I spend so much of my day reading that by the time it's bedtime, my eyes are already tired. And so after a hard day's work, I normally just lie down in bed and am very quickly fast asleep. So there's no time or need for reading.
How have your sleeping habits changed since you were young?
Oh, well, I'd say the main difference is I no longer have a taste for staying in bed and sleeping late, unless I'm not feeling well. But under normal circumstances, I don't like to lie in bed for a long time in the morning. I prefer to get up and get started with the day, which is one of the main differences from when I was younger. When I would take any advantage of a chance to sleep through the morning. Of course, the other thing is, perhaps when I was younger, I might go to bed later as well if there was a lot of activity going on in the dorm or something like that. Whereas nowadays, my hours are more regular.
Okay, thank you.
How many hours are you asleep for every day? Well, actually, I sleep for 8 hours almost every day. I went to bed at about 12 o'clock and wake up at 8 in the morning. However, if I have something like if I have to do my homework or if I have extra work to do during the night, I may sleep a little bit later than that. So it's about 6 or 7 hours of sleep. Is it necessary to take a nap every day? Well, for me, I don't think it is necessary to take a nap every day, because I'm a kind of person that seldom take a nap at the afternoon. Well, as for the reason why, because I think it is hard for me to fall asleep during the daytime, and I feel very sleepy when I wake up if I take a nap. And I can keep energetic all day just for the night sleep. So it is not necessary at all. Do old people sleep a lot, and why? Um, Actually, I don't think old people sleep a lot. On the contrary, they sleep very little. Take my grandma for example. She always went to bed at about 11 o'clock and wake up at about 4 or 5 in the morning. So actually, she just sleep a little bit, like 4 or 5 hours a day. As for the reason why, I think because the old people usually don't have a lot of things to do during the daytime. All they have to do is just maybe sit on the couch, watch TV, or sometimes read newspaper. So they have a lot of rest during the daytime, and they don't need to sleep for a very long time to restore the energy. So I think they don't sleep a lot. What time do you usually go to bed? Like I mentioned, I usually go to bed about 12 o'clock. However, it depends. If I work a lot and do a lot of exercise during the daytime, I may go to bed a little bit earlier, like about 10 or 11 o'clock. And if I was too busy during the night, I may just stay up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So it actually depends. Do you always have a good sleep? Yes, of course. I always have a good sleep. I was the kind of person who would fall asleep as soon as my head touches the pillow. And usually I will sleep without dreaming a lot. And I sleep sound and deep. And in the morning, it's usually the alarm clock that wakes me up. So I do have a good sleep.
How many hours are you asleep for every day? According to the statistics of the app on my smartphone called Sleep Cycle, I sleep around 6 hours on average. I don't really have a healthy and regular sleep, especially on weekend evenings. I stay up a lot simply because I indulge in some online video games, such as PUBG, Overwatch, and stuff like that. It is necessary to take a nap every day. Yeah, I do think so. I have read a news on the internet a long time ago. It was reported that taking a nap can contribute to our brain, especially the memory function area. So, what goes on in your brain while sleep is intensively active periods of restructuring. That's crucial for how our memory works. Do old people sleep a lot? Why? Yeah, basically, the old people sleep a lot and because they need more rest and care than younger people. The old people tend to sleep early in the evening and get up early as well. Because they are more fragile and easy to get sick because of the weak immune system. Sleeping well does help the health. What time do you? Well, normally I retire at 11ish because sleep early can contribute to our health. During sleep, our body balances and regulates its vital systems, affecting our respiration and regulating everything from circulation to growth and immune response as well.
How was your sleeping habits changed since you were young? Generally speaking, the younger we are, the more sleep we need. When I was young, my alarm clock was regular. I woke up at 6:30, and after a whole day study and after finishing my homework at 11 p.m. every night, I hardly to go to bed every day. God knows at that period how stronger desire I have to go to sleep. It is strange that when I was in my 30 years old, I suffered from insomnia. I can't fall asleep every night, and especially when I'm under high pressure of work or just to think about something, maybe like the education for my daughter, or the relationship between my family, or some little issues will make me trouble in the sleep. You can't imagine after a whole day work, you can't fall asleep immediately, even you are tired. And you can't imagine how a person can work properly during the daytime after a whole night sleepless.
How many hours do you sleep every day? Well, I normally sleep for 5 to 6 hours because I don't need too much sleep, and I always stay up late for doing homeworks or watching some movies. Is it necessary to take a nap every day? Yes. Every day I have a habit to take a nap for about 1 hour, because if I don't take a nap, I would feel drowsy in the afternoon. Do old people sleep a lot? Well, I don't think so. I think old people need less sleep because of their aging problem. The old people grow old, so they have slow metabolism, so that they don't need any sleep to rest their bodies.
How many hours are you asleep for every day? Well, basically, it's about like 7 to 8 hours, but it's really unfixed. It's like, sometimes I sleep late because I have to stay up late to concentrate on prepare for my next day's study. So I just got maybe 7 hours, or maybe less than 7 hours. But if time really allowed me to do that, I would try to sleep for more than 8 hours. So that's really optimal for my health. What time do you usually go to bed? It's around 11 p.m. about that. But if I have to stay up late, it's about 1 a.m. Do old people sleep a lot? Why? Well, I don't think on average they sleep a lot because they're more like sleep deprived, as natural course of their aging process goes. They would really naturally lack melatonin or something, the kind of chemical that would really put them asleep. So because the lack of melatonin, they tend to sleep less than young people do. Do you always have a good sleep? I don't think so. I think 80% of the time, I really had good sleep. If I didn't really, see some exciting news or listen to some exciting music or something like that. So I can really pacify my mind. Maybe like 2 hours prior to sleep by drinking some warm milk. But sometimes when I get super excited or super sad or something, I have many things to think about. I couldn't sleep. Is it necessary to take a nap every day? I don't think it's totally necessary, but it might be necessary for some people who really lack the sleep hours at night. For example, some night shift workers, like miners or IT programmers, and these people, they really lack the official sleeping time, right? So it's important for them to take a nap to balance their circadian clock of their life. But for normal people, I don't think so, because you might really can't go to sleep very fast at night if you have too much nap.
How many hours are you asleep for every day? I need a lot of sleep. On holidays, I can fall asleep as soon as I go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, and then wake up at 11 in the second morning. But on weekdays, I usually sleep 7 to 8 hours every day. Is it necessary to take a nap every day? No, there is usually no time for me to take naps on weekdays, and I think I've got enough sleep at night. For old people, a nap may do good to their health. Do old people sleep a lot? Why? Not really. Old people seem to need less sleep than young people. Most of them go to bed early and get up even earlier, sleeping only 5 to 6 hours every night. Maybe that's because of the reduction of their hormone.
Sleep. How much sleep do you need every day? I sleep for roughly 6 hours every day. If I sleep more than that, I will feel dizzy. But if I sleep less than that, I will feel uncomfortable too. I guess it's very important for you to sleep for the suitable amount of time. Do you take naps at noon? No, I don't do that. Some people say that taking a nap helps you to recharge quickly, but if I sleep for a while during the lunch break, I will feel sleepy the whole afternoon. Do you like to read before bed? Yes, it's my daily routine. Doing some reading before you go to bed helps you to calm down both physically and mentally, and therefore better prepares you for the sleep. How have your sleeping habits changed since you were young? My sleeping habits experienced dramatic changes. I remember that when I was a kid, my sleep quality was extremely good. I could fall asleep as soon as my head touches the pillow. But nowadays, sometimes I have sleepless nights.